Welcome back to the channel. I might post this other video I have. It's only like a minute, literally a minute long. That's interesting. Anyway, so hope you're enjoying the Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse. That's pretty badass. Explain something real quick, just to explain a cool part of my day. All right, so I've been working at Waffle House for about 2 days, right? And today's my third day, but I didn't go to work today. And I know it sounds like the wrong decision, but it was the right decision. Hold up. Heart palpitating still. Oh, contract. Anyway, I've seen 3 fucking rainbows in a week. Never in my life have I seen that many rainbows in such a short period of time. I've seen 3 full-sized from one fucking end. You could see the other. Full-depth rainbows in a week. And yesterday I seen the full rainbow after work. You know, still daytime, obviously, rainbow. And it just got done raining. And a dude named Carlos Roundtree comes walking up to me and gives me this opportunity to work at this job for $17 an hour. Gives me a little prayer. It was the best blessing anybody, bestowed upon me. So when somebody prays for me, it really depends on the individual. But that person actually had a good prayer. Okay, he's manifesting his desires. And I could even see he had a red aurora around him. I even brought it up. He's like, yeah, well, just a little bit of how it works. And that was really cool. And then after that, there was a fucking lightning storm in the sky. It was nonstop. Like, when you look in the sky and you see a flash of light, it was nonstop. It was like light here, light there, light here, light there, light here, light here, light here, light here, light here. Did that for about like 30, 45 minutes straight. Non-stop lightning. Like, all you could see was just bright light. I mean, walking around, like, if you're looking at the ground, don't matter what, you just flashes on everything. It's so cool. And they try to tell me this, astrology ain't real. I just got a job making $17 an hour. That's number 8, added up numerologically. Sorry, vibe. And that's Scorpio. And I'm going to be probably gutting, like, chickens or something. Or pulling the guts out of chickens, dead corpses. Makes sense. It's a money sign. One of the 4 money signs. Makes sense. I go this morning, I start walking towards my job, and I see a kitten on the ground. And I knew this was the day to quit because there's this kitten here. So I took the cat to an animal shelter, or the kitten to an animal shelter. I had to walk all the way there. It was kind of a long walk. And I'm walking, and right before I get there, I see 2 cats on my left, and they were playing in, like, the front of this yard. I'm like, well, that's a fucking great sign. Cats are very Scorpio-like in a way too, because they out of the ways they hunt, they fucking sneak on you. That's how they hunt. So out of the 2 ways of warfare, direct and indirect, a cat's Scorpio-like in a sense. They're very Scorpio-like. They're very mysterious. They're very, cat. Just ask anybody. I know cats are more Leo than anything, but it's still the fixed emotion, the other fixed emotion. Yeah. Anyway, point is, I seen those 2 cats, and I went to the building, and I gave them the kitten, and it was a good little cute moment. And the cat weighed exactly 1 pound. It like blew the chick's mind that on this perfectly able to tell the micro kilogram, blah, blah, blah. The kitten weighed exactly 1 pound, and I was all like, I'll sell you 1 pound of straight kitten right now. That'd be a little joke and shit. And on my way back, how I know it was all meant to be is on my way back, I see more cat stuff. Just on this short little walk, on this short 30-minute walk, I see more cat stuff. I'm walking near a funeral home. I'm rounding the corner, and then that's the exact moment they decide to bring out a body in a casket, and they're wheeling it to the car. Is there a body in it or not? Or I don't, I guess you don't really know, but I mean, the fact that it had the wheels, they weren't just carrying it, and there's 2 people, I'm gonna say yeah, probably. So the fact that I'm around the corner and there's a fucking casket going to a hearse, Scorpio, right? Come on, like, when is that? That's never happened to me. I've lived in a funeral home. I used to live in a funeral home back in Missouri. So it's just really trippy because I've never seen a person wheel a fucking coffin to their car. And now it's Scorpio, full moon, lunar eclipse, death, sex, death, rebirth. And I see this chick selling newspapers under a tree in the middle of nowhere. It was almost like stumbling upon a hot dog stand in the desert. It's like, why the fuck are you selling newspapers right here? Like, you know how trippy that shit is? I pull up and you're like, here's a coffin on my right. I look ahead of me. There's this girl sitting, black lady holding like 50 fucking stacks of newspapers on her lap, and I'm holding one up. And there's like nobody around. Now, there will be people. I know the area, so it's like people do walk by, but it'll be like once every like 25, 30 minutes, maybe less than that. You know, there might be more traffic walking through there than I think. It's just funny that she's not sitting on like a main strip of something or anything. She's just sitting in the middle of nowhere. Oh, fuck. And then I'm walking back, and then I look at the trash can, and I don't look through people's trash. I look through like a dumpster near a food place, you know. But I look over, and I find a fucking, just sitting on the top of the trash, I find a ramen packet, fucking sausages, and like 2 oatmeals. And a fucking applesauce. Like, look at all this fucking shit I just find, like, sitting on the top of, like, somebody just like, well, I don't need canned goods no more. I don't need fucking last forever ramen. I don't need the applesauce, the pudding. Like, why? You know? Because I'm going to walk down the street and get it. That's why. I said that at 645-456. Is that grits? I just quit my job where I serve grits, and now I got instant grits, and I've never had grits in a thing like this in my whole life. Out of my whole life, you know, I've had oatmeals in these bags, but I've never had grits in a bag. That's trippy. My whole life, I never had grits in a bag. Just quit a job where I serve grits all day. And I have just enough money to hopefully get this tire, but I'm not worried about it. And I really want to stress this because a lot of people in life, you know, I say follow your feelings. A lot of you think, well, I don't feel good about quitting my job and going on this adventure. Well, for me, the cat was the indicator. There's this little kitten. It's either go to my job and leave this kitten, which I could brainwash myself into believing that kitten is going to be fine. And it could be. I'm not saying it couldn't be. But just the fact that I already planned on quitting, I'm not going to wait 2 whole weeks. I'm making $10 an hour. At this other job, I'll be making $17 an hour. Therefore, if I put my 2 weeks in, I'm losing $7 an hour for 8 hours for like 2 weeks. Now, I might not get that job for many days. Therefore, that whole statement's invalid, and I could be making money doing that. But that ain't the point. I got a dog in the car. I have to leave my dog in this car every single fucking time. So I'm really using my intuitional guidance system anyway. You know, you live in a reality where, yeah, you can base yourself on logic and science to such a high degree that you don't really need it. Now, it's funny because you still emotionally feel secure. Like, if you have a fucking tank for a car and a castle for a home and you go everywhere with a shotgun, you're going to be just fine. You know, you put out bad vibes all day, you think. And yet you'll be just fine. But there is some truth to it. It's like working a job. You know you're going to be secure. You know how many people have shitty mentalities and bad vibes and they have a home and you don't? Now, they ain't living life well at all. Life in general sucks because they feel shitty and like things do shittily happen to them. They make money and they lose a good percentage of it. And the things that they do spend it on, they still don't make them happy. All these goddamn confirmations around me. But no, like all that stuff's invalid. I wasn't working for 2 months. I don't want money. I want, you know, that's the thing about it is like, you know, at this job, I'd have to work months to get a house. Like months. Based upon how much I'm going to eat and do everything else and spend the money on, you know, and I could not spend it on nothing, but, and how much risk I have to leave my dog, it's like, that alone is not worth, you know, every day if I went to a building and I made $17 an hour for 8 hours and I come back and my dog's safe, it's like, oh, that was worth the risk compared to $10. And I'll probably be parked at like a factory location where my car is actually going to be like in a compound where it's going to be fine, you know, more secure. It doesn't matter. Okay, because it's really hard to have kids. Like, as I've mentioned in my other videos, it's really hard to have kids and animals in this life before you go out on a limb to see that what you thought would be unsafe, insecure, definitely fucked is actually you're fine. Besides, animals and people die anyway. It's really when you get over that fact, does your animal now have less chance of dying, or you have a less chance of dying, or your kid has a less chance of dying? You know, I don't blame people for not knowing this, but once you figure this out, or the fact that you're not listening when, you know, this is how reality works. So it's like, whatever belief system you got that's against that, that's great. But if it doesn't work with reality, like, evidence is fucking evidence. This is how it works. And you'll never see it unless you believe it. I'm telling you that's how it works. So you can't disagree with me or try it and be like, well, I did try risking that and I never got the job and I had to go get it again. Guarantee you were fucking thinking you weren't going to get it anyway. I gotta watch that video that just popped up on my phone a little bit. That's a good indicator. Guarantee you were already thinking it wasn't going to work out anyway. Guarantee you know, if you were in my situation, you leave and you think your dog's going to, you know, I was thinking about my dog jumping out of the car window so much that when I came back, there was a moment where a person from Walmart was nearby and they were like, hi, and my dog jumped out of the car to say hello. Well, I manifested that. I was thinking about that happening, but I feel good all day anyway, that when it did happen, it was because I was nearby and the dog was saying hello to a person. It was a good moment. Now, if you have a negative mindset over and over again, like even I do, I was still thinking I need to train my dog in behavioral patterns to not jump out the window. I don't have to do that. That's not how, you know, my dog sits, stays, doesn't stay that well, but sits, always comes to me, listens better than any. You know how many people are jealous of my fucking dog? Like, I got the cutest fucking dog that actually listens. Like, I can just film my dog. He fetches and everything. I don't train. I'm not a professional dog trainer. I just have a right vibe and everything works out anyway. This shit works for everything. Like, it's retarded. Like, just the fact that I got all this food and I helped save a kitten, and I know I helped save the kitten because of the rarities of the situations and the synchronicities, like the fact the cat weighs exactly on the dot, 0.001 pound exactly. What the fuck? Like, that's fucking trippy. I get all this food, I see a coffin, like, the rarity of it. If I went to work, it'd be another day at work. And yeah, I would love the extra money. Of course I would. That's the point, though. I'm willing to give up things. What are you willing to give up to get... You know, I want a house. I want my own place to live. Dude, I'm not going to lie to you. My next dream, you know what my big dream is right now? To be fucking honest with you, after saying goodbye to my whole family and everything, I want to just, like, well, fuck. I mean, it's only been a couple months, right? I was going to go to New York and just run around with my head cut off like a chicken. Which is ironic because I might be doing that. I hope they don't put me on the kill floor. If anyone's going to kill animals to feed the population, it makes sense it would be me. But goddamn, I'd rather not do that. I'm not really a big fan of killing things. But I mean, they are getting eaten, so it makes sense. Anyway, and plus you live in a world where I've already ate all these animals. Like this can of meat right here, you know, like this thing had to get killed for me to eat it. And you're taking all the glory and all the benefits without putting the work in. So I'm cool with doing that. It's a job where I think they pay $17 an hour and all that because nobody wants to do it, and that's fine by me because, you know, there's something about it that seems like something I actually do want to do. Like something about working on carcasses actually makes sense to me. I've been around death so much, it just makes sense to me. Like, I really believe that. I'm not really ready for humans, dead carcass, but I mean, I know it's not so fucked, and I bet if you watch all my videos, you're like, he's just going farther down the narcissistical, he's going to be a murderer. whatever, you know. But there is a slight vibe about that. It really is, because I know, you got to know what you're hunting. No, I have to deal with killers, murderers, and rapists and shit all the time. So it just makes sense I'd be working at a job where I'm going to be a little more desensitized to the blood and guts. Just makes sense. You know, like for me, driving an 18-wheeler, all that shit really was mental building. Like, if I can do that, I can do this. That's really what all of it's about, is you have belief level, you go out and you make an achievement, and now your belief level is higher. Like, the fact that I can drive a fucking 18-wheeler, like, I can fly a helicopter. Well, flying a helicopter can't be that much harder than driving an 18-wheeler. Somebody might say that's bullshit, but it's like, no. Like, driving an 18-wheeler with traffic and kids swarming around you in the slightest fuck-up, you're going to wreck into a car and crush and kill them. Or you're going down a mountain and you hit the brakes too much. Like, there was a guy in a truck going down the mountain out in fucking, like, I don't remember. It was out west somewhere. Maybe it was when you enter California. Before you enter California, there's some mountains. And I was out there that way with my truck driver trainer and mentor. And he was telling me about, and I looked it up, and the guy killed like 114 people going down a mountain. Like, think about that. You wouldn't think that, but like this truck slammed through and killed 114 people. That's a lot of fucking people. I mean, a helicopter, you'd have to wreck into a building, and 9/11 ain't shit, buddy. That ain't how it actually went down at all. So don't think a fucking plane would even do that anyway. I mean, that was a plane. A helicopter ain't gonna go take down no big building like that. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't even kill that many people. You know? And like, not even about that. Like, just the fact that you're flying in the open air. Like, it ain't, you know, you might get cross breezes and shit, and, you know, but I got to deal with that in a truck too. The fucking side wind will blow your 18-wheeler right off the... I was in Wyoming, and the winds would almost blow you off the fucking road. Like, you know, so once you do shit like that, I was going to be a helicopter pilot. I even met a helicopter pilot. I used to serve him at Waffle House all the time. He'd come in and get burnt bacon for his dog. We'd sit there and burn bacon for like 30 minutes till it was black charcoal. And we'd sit and talk. It was a sweet dude. But, you know, I don't really think he was as happy as he made it out to be. And that's why I didn't become a helicopter pilot. I was gonna. But he did describe how fun it was, and I understand that too with the trucking. Like, you know, he'd sit there and describe about how when you lift up the gear, you know, and the helicopter, the landing gear, you actually get a speed boost. Just the way it works, especially the one he was driving. You know, you just hit 45 mile an hour quicker. Just, you know, it really alerts you forward. And, you know, good conversations and all that. I'm just kind of rambling at the moment. Yeah, don't let mind programs get you, because, you know, you live in a world where, you know, you have agreements. Like, I have to lie on the resume just to get the job. I'm off the bat hurting my heart. It's really fucked that that's the world I live in. I don't live in a home. I'm homeless. But I have to put down I have a home somewhere. Fuck. You know what I mean? Emergency contact. I'm an orphan at this point. I don't got no emergency contact. You know, like, I gotta make shit up. I gotta lie about addresses and shit. You know, it might come all back to bite me in the ass, but if it don't, I mean, it's already biting me in the ass now. You know, but I'm happy where I know every day I can get a couple bucks off the change. I have a little routine. I can go down to the all the food, you know, all the fast food chains. They always drop change out there the windows. I can make like $1 or $1.50 a night. So I just made probably 120 bucks or so. I need a tire and a rim. I got enough for that. I got enough money. It's only 30 minutes to get north to this new job. So it's all set up anyway. And worst case scenario, I get a job anyway, or it just takes longer to do it all. But you can't convince me that saving this kitten wasn't the right decision. So I waste a week of my life. I'm not wasting a week of my life. I'm happy every day, and I'm enjoying myself. People really need to understand this. Like, if you're enjoying your fucking life, you're on point. If you want, like... And it's so funny because people will argue with me because I'm homeless. But it's like, bro, I've made more money than you, most likely. So there was times in my life where I've made more money than you. I had more responsibility than you. I carried millions of pounds of food. I've gotten to go skydiving. I've walked across bridges. You know, bridges that are like dangling above an interstate. I've walked across bridges dangling higher than you could imagine. Way higher than you could fucking... Scarier, like twice the height of what you're thinking of an overpass. And I've walked on the fucking side of it where you got that little... You know, I never walked on the ones with rounded, curved things because that's a little too much. But anything with a flat spot big enough for at least my foot, yeah, I used to practice walking on the curb. If I can walk on a curb and not fall off, I can walk on a bridge over traffic and not fall off. That's how you work on your skills. And I got to a point where I used to be twirling on curbs, you know, where I'd be walking on a curb and I'd try to, you know, do a 180. You know what I mean? Like, not try to fall off. I can't do it. I'm sitting in the car, but, you know, I'd flip around and I'd flip around the other way, you know, do a 360. I started trying to do that while walking across bridges. Oh, I tried to do one or two. I've only done it a couple times, but, you know, in my mind, it's like, yeah, it's 50-50 chance. If I start to fall, I'll lean more this way. I always lean a little towards this side, even when I did a 180, a 360. I'd always lean a little more one way. You know, so I just worked on my skills more, worked on my mentality more. So I did stuff like that. I've crawled underneath the bridge. I scooted underneath the bridge. Over 9 semis in a cop car. Literally, I had to keep my foot up just so I wouldn't get smacked by a fucking semi as it went by. Like, think about how cool that is. That's in my life. And I made it across in cold. Like, it was so painful. I'm not going to tell that whole thing. I crawled through a sewer drain and I had no phone or nothing on me. All I had was about, see this back scratcher? I had a stick about this long, and I did this to see. You know, like if you can't, you know, like a blind man. I was like, oh yeah, like but it was a round tube, so I could just keep scraping it like a circle, and I could hear the, and I crawled like 100 yards through a fucking sewer with bats and stuff flying by, and I didn't know if I was any moment going to fall through a crevice, and there was a moment where that was seeming to happen. It was all an illusion. I've talked about it in another video. If you want to hear about it, watch those videos. You know, I've done a lot. You know, like I said, I've fucking been to Amsterdam and France. I've met Andy. I've stayed at a fucking 3.5-star fancy hotel called the Mariano with an open window in another country where I opened it up and like, you have no clue with a, you know, brick house courtyard and a garden underneath me. You know, I've had fancy breakfast in the morning. I've slept on the streets of France. I had a rat jump off my fucking leg. Like, you know, I can't. I've hopped over the airport fucking fence. I keep bringing it up. I know I bring it up way too much. I've laid over underneath a 747 fucking 7. I've risked my life and I've saved 2 fucking people. I've donated $600 to the homeless and I've given my car away to a motherfucker who I gave him a car. The next day he gets in a head-on collision in his truck and he needed a fucking car. Like, think about it. And that's all. And everything I just mentioned was in 4 years. That's just been the last 4 years of my life. If I were to mention my life before that, I lived at my grandpa's. I lived over here. Got my ass beat by a guy named Tristan. I never dated any women. I was a loser. Did I also mention the last 4 years? I know how to kick your ass with a staff. I do iron palm. I hit like my hands 1,000 to 3,000 times a day. Right now I can walk up to a brick wall and backhand it. Way harder than anybody else can if they don't practice or do anything. Guarantee. Like, you could tell. You know, I remember I was fucking around with this dude. I went to his wedding. It was a demon wedding. We talk about it a lot. He's the guy who met me when I was walking down the streets in the hood with a pillow and a Hawaiian t-shirt. That's the first time he ever met me. And he's like, fucking crazy dyer walking down this fucking hood next to Hyde Park. But of all places, with a fucking Hawaiian t-shirt, a pedal. He's fucking cute. And, he's a Scorpio and Mercury. I can't remember his sun and moon sign. His moon sign's, I think, Capricorn. But his Mercury is in Scorpio. And my last life, I was Mercury and Scorpio. So they're puppet masters. They like to fucking say things to get you to do things and shit. But I'm already so peeped into it, you can't fuck with me on it. Anyway, so, you know, we were sitting there play fighting once. And he was really trying to dominate me. Like, he even told me a dream he had where him and his girlfriend both had the same dream. And it was reality. Where they lived hundreds of years in this snowy landscape, and they were fighting demons and shit. And anyway, vampires and shit. They were vampires. They literally told me they were vampires. And they both had the same dream, and I believe that. I'm not going to get too deep on the spiritual aspects of who those people are, but they were very much in the chaos energy. Every time they speak, you could just hear it. Like, it was ridiculous. They would send me, I could sit here and share with you the audio tapes that they sent me on Facebook. It was unbelievable. You know, I want to go back and listen to them just because how crazy they were. That another human being could send you this, realizing that these aren't people. At least not at this low. At least they're so vibrationally low that it's like ridiculous to even fuck with these entities and people. If you want to call them people, that's fine. I'll still call them people. Like, the last thing this dude said to his mom was, "I hope you fucking die, bitch," or some shit, or "You're a fucking bitch," and then she died. You know, like, you know, these are the same people that are doing the same fucking dumb shit now. They're doing this. They're making the same mistakes right now. They didn't learn from it. They're just causing more chaos. But I remember this dude was fucking with me, and I like was kind of a little get. You know, he was drunk. He was really drunk. You know, he was. You know, there was like a cat or a dog in the house, and he was like, "Come here, kitty. You know, come here. Love this cat." And I had to like stop that calmly, because you know he did it to a dog and the cat, you know, and it's just like, dude, like, let the cat down. No idea. So it's like, you know, I had to free this fucking cat or dog. There was a cat and there was a dog. I just don't remember which of the many abusive events that happened, which one was what, and he's always drunk. So one of those moments happened. It's like, chill the fuck out. And he would start, we were sitting on this bed, crisscross applesauce, and he started like drunkenly just fight. And I got pinned down on the ground. You know, the bed's only like a couple inches off the ground, but I got pinned down on the ground for a minute. And I felt like he tried to take my self-respect and my, you know, you making me look like a bitch. You know, drunken beat me. So it got to a moment where he was hitting me, and like, but it was like such a druggish, slowish, but I don't care. Like, I get that you're in a state of, but you rationally decided to get drunk and get to that point. With that said, no, I'm not going to, you know, I feel better, you know, always feel better now. Feeling better now is better than being suicidal, depressed, embarrassed, humiliated. Getting angry, fighting back. It ain't blissfully happy, but you ain't going to hit blissfully happy after being disrespected like that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody beats you up, you're on the ground, they pull out their dick and piss on you, and everybody laughs. You ain't going to feel that good for a while. Now, if you get angry, they might kill you. You know, it's all about where you're at and what your level is and your belief system. That's why you got to go out and make some accomplishments. I'll give a story of why this is important in a second, but the point was, I got up and I smacked him with the old iron palm hammer. Now, I can't break bricks yet. But, like, look, did you see that? I told you I have hand powers. I just hit my hand and the car honks. I was thinking about this horn, too, because I just hit it like I would hit a horn. That's so funny. Goddamn hand powers. But no, I give him one good slap. Made him fucking stop. Didn't even hit him that hard. I don't have to. Like, my hands, I don't have to throw them. They're not that fast. It's just the impact. My bone density is a lot denser to people. I've smacked a dog back when I was, you know, I had all the power of this, but no discipline. I slapped my dog Willow, a black lab, on the, you know, on the side a little bit because whatever wasn't worth it. You know, I was being abusive. And because I had abusive mentality at the time. This is before I walked towards my death, before I became a truck driver, before I risked my life for other people, for a lot of things. I don't even think I went skydiving or anything yet. Or maybe I did go skydiving at that point. But, you know, I was still a power freak. And I was still very abusive. In a way, mentally, and a bunch of other, I didn't physically go around hurting people, but, you know, I had more power than I knew what to do with. And when I smacked my dog, I'm like, that dog shit blood for a week. So I've learned not to use it on people and shit like that. But, you know, I was getting abused by this dude for a good second there and getting embarrassed and pushing me on the ground and making it look like I'm a little bitch that, yeah, I'm going to hit you with like 60% fucking power. A little smack, little, you know what I mean? So then it bruised him and gave him a big exact handprint. Gave him a handprint for days. He stopped fucking me with that. And the reason why I brought up about you being in the hood, somebody pissing on you, that whole speech I just gave just a second ago on why it's important to go out and make achievements, is when you have achievements. You know, I'm an earth sign. So for me, to know and not to do is not to know. You live in the earth realm. You should be learning from all the signs. Follow your intuitions, a water thing. Feel good now is a fire thing. Fire signs feel how they feel. And that's why they're so magical and creative. And that's why elite, you know, they're so, you know, you watch a movie and you're like, man, I want to be like that actor.